Dear friends, today is HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. It is on this day that we go ahead and we remember the 6 million Kedoshim, the 6 million men, women, and children so horrifically and brutally murdered by the Nazis, Yamach Shemam B'Zichram, in an effort to not just simply eradicate European Jewry, but an effort ultimately to eradicate global Jewry. We remember them, even if we can't remember their names, even if we can't remember their places of origin, and even if the towns that were once so vibrant are merely but a distant memory, we take a few moments today to remember the communities that existed, the families that existed, the individuals who existed, and we take a few moments to mourn their loss. How much brighter the world would have been, how much more holiness there could have been, how much stronger our people would have been had those 6 million Kedoshim still been with us today. But alas, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has some greater master plan, a master plan which often seems to elude any type of human understanding, but yet we believe. But with all that belief comes a searing pain. With all that belief comes an unfillable void. Today is Yom HaShoah, today is a day that we remember. And I just want to share with you a short story. It's a story actually that I said over in Shul on Yizkor, during Yizkor. A very profound story that's told about the great tzaddik, the Kalev Rebbe. Kalev Rebbe was a Hasidic rabbi. Before he was deported to Auschwitz, spent some time in the ghetto. And the Rebbe was one day clustered up in his room in the ghetto, probably engaging in some type of learning or meditation or tearful prayer on behalf of the plight of his people. And he looked outside the window and he saw something amazing. He saw a young boy running up and down the train tracks screaming something. First day he saw this, he made nothing of it. Unfortunately, the sight of seeing the young and old running around screaming in the ghetto was not a unique sight. The next day, he saw the same boy running up and down the tracks. Third day, fourth day, fifth day, finally the Rebbe was intrigued. When he saw the boy the next day by the train tracks, he went down. He said to the boy, "Yingala, young man, what are you doing?" And the boy, so filled with emotion, a young boy said, "Rebbe, I have to tell you, a few days ago there was a massive selection in the ghetto, as you know, and my mother was put onto a cattle car. And I tried more than anything to be with her. I tried more than anything to jump onto the cattle car with her. But the Nazi guards beat me back, threw me to the ground. But I was able to get back up and hold my mother's hands for one last time. And in that moment when I held her hand, she said to me one last message. She said, 'My precious child, always remember one thing. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. My precious child, remember one thing throughout life. Shema Yisrael, hear Israel. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem is our God. Hashem is one.'" And the little boy said to the Rebbe, now clearly holding back tears, he said, "Rebbe, every single day I come out to the train tracks. I run up and down crying out, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, for one reason, because I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget my mother. I don't want to forget my God. I don't want to forget my people. I'm so scared that I'm going to forget that I come out here every day to cry out my mother's last words to myself." My dear friends, as the years go on, we run the risk of forgetting. And to forget compounds the tragedy. To forget the 6 million Kedoshim compounds and amplifies the pain. Our avoda today is to remember. It's to remember that our people, as great and as vibrant as we are, we're not whole. We're deficient. There are broken pieces because there's a part of our collective soul that is still empty. There is a void that over 70 years later still has not been filled. We are privileged, Baruch Hashem, to live in unprecedented times of vibrant Judaism. So much Torah learning, so much incredible chesed. We see the ranks of our people, Baruch Hashem, growing by leaps and bounds each and every year. Our communities are growing. So much of our spiritual infrastructure continues to proliferate each and every day. But while in the midst of all of that growth and expansion, we must always take the time to remember. And if we can't remember their names, we remember their faces. If we can't remember their faces, we could close our eyes and simply remember their neshamas. Those neshamas which look down on us from high. Those neshamas which have a beautiful place in Gan Eden. Those neshamas which have finally found rest. Tachas Kisya, covered underneath the divine throne. That is our purpose and that is our mandate on this day of Yom HaShoah. It is true, many of us think that Yom HaShoah perhaps is not as relevant for the Orthodox community because after all we have Tisha B'Av. We have Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is the 9th of Av is the day when we mourn and we commemorate all of our collective tragedies and difficulties. But my dear friends, although Tisha B'Av may be the dominant day that we remember the 6 million Kedoshim, if the world is remembering the 6 million today, then we, their brothers and sisters, must absolutely join in that remembrance as well. So take a few moments today. Think about the world that was lost. Think about the families that were shattered, the communities which were obliterated. Mourn their loss just for a few moments. But my dear friends, mourning is never an end. Mourning is a means. May their memory inspire us. May their sacrifice inspire us to become better, to become holier, to continue to build, for we are vested with the responsibility of doing the work that they can no longer do. May we find the courage to mourn. May we find the strength to build. And in doing so, may we give their precious neshamas a beautiful aliyah. And may they find rest underneath the protective wing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu.